It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brand. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe in the building.
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm fine. You're looking all so copper and gold. I like it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm doing well. I have a book reading later today. I'm excited
nice.
to go for it. I haven't done a book reading in a while.
Nice.
Yeah, so
It's a school or?
It's a camp. Of
Oh,
course, schools
nice.
are on holiday,
camp.
so there's a summer camp and
Yeah.
I'm going to be reading to them.
Cool,
Just
nice.
excited. to talk
That's
about
nice, fantastic.
Nature and environment, as usual.
Oh, nice. Oh,
So when Mariam is saying she's doing book reading, actually she's giving them an experience.
Okay.
She's not just reading the book. Oh. Yeah. She has videos.
Yeah.
She shows them about nature. Like the children get like it's a
Yeah.
transformation. Like they understand the impact.
So those who are
That's
visual.
my marketing manager.
So those who are visual go home with
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
Those who are, yeah, all the trip. How you doing, Damola? How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. So I want to rant. a
Okay,
bit.
what happened?
Something happened in the course of my business operations this week. So we have this affiliate marketing program where people can join and earn like a 10% commission on every sale. And we cannot take everybody. You have to have meet the criteria to actually get on board. So we refused a particular guy and he was throwing tantrums. Like, who are you? Yes. Like, who are you?
Physically or virtually?
Virtually, emails, WhatsApp, Instagram, who are you? Why do you think you can refuse me? You said I should convince you. You don't need money, you don't do this, you don't do that. We didn't say anything for a while. Then we had to tell him at some point that if you continue this, they will get you arrested for cyberbullying. You did not qualify, you did not qualify.
Simple.
You do. So why are you throwing
Look at
that?
that.
People are frustrated. I don't know where the one is going through. Maybe it's a serious matter for him, but it's very uncouth for him to do that.
How some men actually take rejection.
Yeah.
Because if it were to be a girl that actually rejected him like that, he
who
would
knows,
start
Mary
stalking
Cynthia.
her.
Yes.
Exactly.
That attitude is really, really bad.
Hi, Dintokwe. Come
I'm
to you.
good. We need to raise our people better. Yesterday my banter became semi-hot topic, so I'll just keep it in. Let's keep doing our best. Like everything we do has impact, and as much as possible, you can avoid crisis. There's someone that is looking for my trouble. The person looking for my trouble, just know that you don't want my trouble. I get back in.
Oh, yeah, you
The
do.
fight is plenty. So
And it's
just
spiritual from the above.
everywhere.
Not just physical. everything.
Yes,
So,
and don't look for the battle that you cannot handle. Let's just be peaceful with one another.
Yes, we concur. Anyways, nothing happening on this end. It's just work. You know, I mean, things are still a bit slow on the other side, but it's good. Let me rest. But I've not been able to rest. I'm always on the go. I really need to rest. As we had somebody talk about sleep yesterday. I need to sleep. I don't get that 8 hours. I don't even get 5 hours because I have the time I'm waking up and I'm doing other things. My mind is drifting, so I need some good sleep. But don't forget. Please send us stories. We've gotten a few, actually. We'll be discussing them today and tomorrow. Life stories, your journey, your experiences. Send it to us via email, yourview@tvzcommunications.tv. When you send it to us, we can then discuss it and get people's opinions on it and also the ladies' views on it. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Inspector General warns against violence as Labour insists on protest. Jet crashes on Ikeja Major Road. Immigration arrests Cameroonians seeking Nigerian passports. How Tinubu will end electricity crisis by El Rufai. Senate to revisit CBN Act, says Akpabio. Tribunal reserves judgment in Atiku Obi petitions. Residents defy 2-week sit-at-home call in Southeast. Oyo Labour Unions lock secretariat for second day. And Emefiele gets court's nod to serve bail order on DSS. Okay, which story? Starting with The Nation?
Picture story. So yesterday afternoon, a lot of us saw the video that had gone viral showing a jet that had crashed into the road in Oba Accra and in Ikeja. So it's been confirmed that that incident happened. They say it was a Turbo 5NCCQ jet. It had two occupants, yes, so it had two occupants in it. It was a test flight as well that they were doing, and when it crashed, luckily, as it was going to crash land, people, saw it. CCTV camera took it, and it also crash landed beside a petrol station. People immediately started helping out with fire extinguishers, and I hear that the staff from the fuel station also helped, and they were able to rescue them. People were able to rescue them as well. The governor was at the site. He said that he even mentioned 2 people that helped in rescuing the occupants of the aircraft. They're in hospital getting treatment right now, but they're also going to look into the cause of the crash. As of the time of this report, we don't know what the cause was, but NSIB will be looking into it. The SEMA and all the other agencies also have been thanked for speedy response to the situation. But most of all, also, Nigerians who were there, first responders there, did the right thing immediately.
And I think the governor also acknowledged 2 people. I think the 2 names that he acknowledged that they were the first to actually help.
Oluwafemi and Okweyemi.
Exactly.
2 gallant Nigerian citizens.
Yes.
Thank you. You're a hero.
Yes, they are the heroes of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take the major headlines. So the Inspector General of Police, the acting Inspector General of Police, that's his, let me get his IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, warned against violence at the planned protest for Labour today. So if you recall, Labour were having meetings with the federal government. According to this report, they're insisting on going ahead with their protest as planned. According to Labour, they said that the protest will start because the relief package unveiled on Monday by Mr. President was insufficient to alleviate the suffering of the Nigerian people. Egbetokun will say that the Nigerian police force reiterates its commitment to ensuring the safety and security of all citizens during the period of the planned protest, as all necessary measures to facilitate the peaceful conduct will be implemented. However, it is hereby reaffirmed that any attempt by miscreants to exploit the situation for violent purposes vis-a-vis vandalism, gangsterism, extortion will be met with a firm, professional, and commensurate lawful approach. So the police will not tolerate any act of law breaking up any laws in this protest. Okay? Any other story, Nation?
Yes, I would like to take the story. The headline says, Senate to revisit CBN Act, says Akpabio. And the story is, the Senate yesterday said it would revisit the Central Bank of Nigeria Act to address governance gaps in its structure. And this is stemming from the recommendations of the former CBN Deputy Governor, Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, that was nominated and screened by the Senate yesterday. He was asked to prefer solutions to how the CBN can be restructured, and he faulted the lack of comprehensive oversight of the CBN governor. He also said we would not be in this situation if there was a proper oversight and monitoring of the CBN. He also said that the only connecting line to the president in terms of reporting is the governor, and which shouldn't be so. That it's possible in the 5-year course of their administration, the deputy governors do not even get the chance to report to the president, to report any kind of excesses. So it should be monitored. And the Senate president has said that they would,
I think I like that. So not just the CBN governor, the deputies and other executives should be having access and once in a while to the president so that they know exactly what's going on.
The story, I found it very interesting. El-Rufai in his, what's the word? They were interviewing, screening, that was what I'm looking for. In his screening, they asked him about the electricity. So it seems like we're tilting towards electricity.
Power.
And I love the power. I love the way he answered. He spoke about what he feels this administration would do to change the power issue. We have 13,000 megawatt capacity, but we are only producing between 4,000 to 6,000. So he said the first thing to be done was to find out why we are not able to produce the 13,000 and fix it. 80% of what produces for us is gas. So they realize that we don't have enough gas. So sometimes the reason we're not able to produce is we don't have gas supply. And the second phase, he said, was if we finish producing, transmission, there's a challenge. But distribution, it's impossible. What makes all those power shutting down was because we produce beyond what they could move. So the 22 collapse. The power system collapsed 2 times in 2022. He said that, so we need to expand our transmission capacity. Then distribution, that out of the 11 distribution companies, only 3 survived a stress test. And about 6 of them have already been taken over by banks that they borrowed money from. So we can see that the issues in our power sector is multifaceted, and I loved the way he addressed it one after the other. So I'm looking forward to seeing what portfolio
Square
he
peg in a
gets.
square hole.
Yeah.
See,
round peg in a round
everybody's
hole.
talking about. Moving on to the Punch. Let's take the major headlines. Subsidy talks. Labour shuns federal government, begins protest as oil workers down tools. FG orders probe as test flight plane crashes on Lagos Road. Task force officials extort 35,000 naira from motorists on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Foreign trained doctors mass failure worsens Nigeria's manpower crisis. For real? 500 illegal courier operators under prosecution, says NIPOS. Tinubu sends second ministerial list today. Direct interventions in power sector hit 7 trillion naira, says federal government. Niger, Russia, Burkina Faso, Mali oppose ECOWAS military intervention. Okay, which story we're starting with?
So they say motorist Stanley Chukwedo is lamenting that task force officials who claim to be working for the Ifo local government area of Ogun State extorted him of 35,000 naira. He was explaining that on Friday on his way to work from Ibafo, when he got to the Kara Bridge on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, there was traffic as usual, and so he tried to make a diversion, and then these people, jumped out of the, and got into his car, accusing him of different things. So he was not taking the right way, he was going against traffic, and says he wasn't. He actually was going the way he was meant to go. He was trying to explain. So they said that he had followed them to the office. By the time they got to a place, he said, there were about 4 of them. They first asked him for 150. In the end, they took 35,000 naira from him, and they used the POS, they said, and he paid into a Palm Pay account. And he was wondering, he was like, how would government funds be going into this sort of account? Did not have the for local government, but they issued him a receipt saying that he had gone against traffic. He said, but I didn't go against traffic. Anyway, 35,000, they say for being a gentleman, they would have taking more from him. And they say this is not the first time that it's happened. The local government chairperson was, she was approached and she said this is not the first time she's heard this, and they have sorted it out. These people do not work for the local government. So there are some touts on that road that are extorting people of their monies. Yes, so we need to figure that out. Yes, probably have some colored uniforms or something.
Or those reflective jackets.
Yes.
Okay, so let me take this story. 500 illegal courier and logistics operators are being prosecuted by the police for not obtaining operating licenses from Niger Postal Service. The general manager of the team, the courier, that's, let me see, Dr. Dotun Shonde, disclosed this to Punch on Tuesday, saying that they've actually started clamping down on not just in Kwara State, across various states, Edo, Rivers, Ogun, Oyo, Lagos, FCT, and many other states. They're enforcing the law to ensure that every courier service is properly registered with NIPOS. And they started this clampdown. It had begun to clamp down operations on licensed illegal courier express. I didn't realize that they had to have a license.
Yes,
so they've actually impounded. They've impounded their motorbikes until they come and pay. Because many of them, they just start the business without going through the right process of getting certification and licensing. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. What's the story? Damola?
I actually have the Niger story, although I saw it in the Sun, but since it's here, I can just take it. So the headline is, Junta-led Burkina Mali won against military intervention in Niger. Junta-led Burkina Faso and Mali yesterday warned that any military intervention in Niger to restore the deposed president, Mohamed Bazoum, would be considered a declaration of war against their two countries. So it's looking like the countries that have been recently taken over by coup plots are trying to form like an African power bloc. And they are threatening, so they are threatening the ECOWAS leaders to say, if you send your military into Niger, we are going to fight back.
War.
Yes, they are declaring war. And while this is going on, the European nations are beginning to evacuate their citizens from those areas, even though the US has not fully committed to evacuating theirs. And that's human rights lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana-Osan, he's recommending that the ECOWAS does not send the military into Niger. Instead, they should use some economic sanctions instead, because we do not know if this war is going to be hijacked by some European nations that have interest in the African nations. So that's how that is going so far.
Okay, we don't want to send our Nigerian military. We have
exactly. And these people, some of these Nigerians are actually flying the Russian flag to say that they have support from Russia. But Russia is condemning them, saying that, no, we do not have anything to do with this. So we do not understand the world politics going on here, but
so
pray for the African nation.
So I'll quickly take the story about foreign doctors. Apparently, a few doctors that are Nigerian citizens want that for you to work as a medical doctor in Nigeria, you must write the Nigerian exams. And they said this is obtainable everywhere around, most countries around the world. So there's a Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria that writes exams for Nigerians that want to practice medicine in Nigeria. But many Nigerians go to Ukraine, Sudan, Cyprus, Egypt, the Caribbean, Russia, and all of that to study medicine. And they come to Nigeria to write the exams, and they have a 70% failure rate.
Oh.
Yes. And the reverse is the case for Nigerians that go and write to study, to work in the UK. So though it might seem like the educational sector isn't as good as we would like it to be, they said they will not jeopardize the health of Nigerians and others living within this country by letting people that are not qualified to practice. We will not trade quality over quantity. That is for those Nigerians that are coming from other countries to serve in the medical sector within Nigeria. It was an interesting read. You know, we're not as bad as, you know, they should not stop.
We already knew that, just that we don't like to admit it. All our people go here, they try to write exams, they pass, and they move on. They act, oh, Nigerian education is bad. But all of you are becoming doctors abroad. Make it a hot topic now.
Because I have an opinion.
Daily Sun. Anxiety as tribunal reserves judgment. Troops destroy more IPOB and ESN camps in Anambra, Imo Forest, and 5 injured, also injured. No going back on nationwide protest, vows NLC. Senate screens Edun, Umahi, El-Rufai, 11 other ministerial nominees yesterday. Turbojet crashes in major Lagos road. No fatalities recorded, thank God for that. FG spent over 3 trillion to save power sector from collapses, NESD. And Nigeria's foreign reserves in their situation, Senate warns. Okay.
Uproar in the Senate.
Yeah.
According to the headline, but the story is that during the ministerial confirmation, when it was El-Rufai's turn, you know, and he had finished giving like a brief detail about himself, Senator representing Kogi West, Sunday Karimi, raised a point of order. So he said that the governor that he had performed well as FCT minister and as governor, but there's a petition against him bordering on national security and national unity. And so he was asked to respond to that. But the Senate president intervened and said that he didn't have to respond to it, that for all the others also who had been briefed, there were petitions against them, but that was not the place to discuss the petitions. That after they've been screened, they will now be sent back to the presidency and or security agencies who will further vet these petitions and then finally, before they are confirmed. So he just...
So he didn't respond?
So I did not hear the uproar. No, so he didn't respond to that. But I don't know if there was uproar among the senators, but based on the reports, it didn't look like there was an uproar.
So our gallant officers entered the forest and declared war on the IPOB members. Soldiers on internal security operations went in on the illegal status home declared by IPOB, and they took them on and at the logistics bases in the various parts within Anambra and Imo states. According to Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, he said that operation was carried out by the combined troops of the 82 Division Nigerian Army. The raid took place on Monday, and the troops were alerted to the violent activities of the irredentist group enforcing the illegal 2-week sit-at-home. During the raid, IPOB camps in Eketu, Osomogu, Lilu, Mother camps, and so many of these were all raided, and were able to detonate the improvised explosive devices, also known as the Ogbonigwe. And unfortunately, 5 members of the soldiers, 5 of the soldiers actually were injured. Operatives were injured, but the Nigerian army were courageous, and they were able to take down these various camps of the ESN and the IPOB. According to them, said they overpowered the irredentist group in the firefight, compelling them to abandon their position as they fled with gunshot wounds into nearby bushes. Further cordon and search of the hideouts by the troops led to the arrest of 5 fleeing members of the group and the recovery of 1 IPOB flag. So they were able to arrest 5 of them, and I think they're putting a lot of pressure on them to ensure that this sit-at-home is not enforced any longer.
Even some of the residents actually defying the 2-week sit-at-home because they're crying of hunger.
How can you sit at home for 2 weeks?
Economic stagnation.
For children, for a lot of Nigerians that are living on income they make on a daily basis, it's terrible. You know, so the Nigerian foreign reserve has gone into negative, and that came out through the Senate Chief Whip, Mohammed Ali Ndume, when he was questioning the ministerial nominee of Ogun State, Adebayo Olawale Edun, who is currently functioning as the president's advisor on monetary policies. And he said something must be done urgently, that 95% of our revenue goes into debt servicing, and that our external reserve has gone into negative. What that means is we don't have an external reserve. So in response from Mr. Wale Edun, he broke down the fact that the major crisis, of course, from the past administration, and in the 2 months of power, a lot has been done to sort of try to correct the issue. He spoke about how they are hoping to correct the issue, stabilizing, putting tech, that Lagos State was able to generate increased revenue because of the use of technology. Yes. And that if on a national level we infuse technology, we can increase our internally generated revenue. Then he spoke about the dollar and the plan to stabilize find a way to stabilize the dollar, and over time we would see major...
There's some conversations here, I'm like, really? You mean we haven't done that?
Yeah.
Like we're just discussing it.
It was like the president, Ashwaji, then had introduced Oracle into the Lagos State government at the time, back then. And that's what helped them.
Do we have it on the federal level
generating
now?
Of the revenue that they are celebrating today. I mean, I'm surprised that many states haven't really replicated that in this way. I mean, okay, let's move on. Let's Vanguard. How many minutes do we have? We don't have any more minutes. Let's find a story we've not taken at all. Ministerial appointments. Okay, we discussed that. Tinubu Court reserves judgment on Atiku Obi's petitions. Court grants Emefiele leave to serve DSS DG under transferring him to prison after bail. Will defend Nigeria's democracy and constitution, says Army Chief Lagbaja. Subsidy lifts ban on fuel supply to border communities, Senate tells federal government. And 4 persons rescued as plane crashes in Lagos. Is there any story we've not taken at all?
I think we've covered.
Okay, let's move on now quickly to Tribune, if we have any more time. Let's find a story. Freed Ondo kidnap victims. Our abductors collected 2.2 million naira ransom, rice and cigarettes. Lifts ban on fuel supply to border communities, Senate tells federal government. IGP talks tough as NLC get out for their protests. And military can't handle Nigerian problem, Agbaje political scientist. Okay.
The dollar keeps our exchange rates. We're still having a major crisis, 21% fall, and a difference of about that same amount between official window and the parallel market. And I remember about 2 weeks ago when we took this story that in the paper I carried why we're going to continue to have this issue, because there are still some things on exclusive list. So we have just sort of deregulated and floated. We haven't completely floated. If it is something that can be resolved, let's remove those things from the list so that everybody has access to the official window, and then there's scarcity of dollar.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in the last 2 days, Senate President, in fact, the plenary have been screening, the National Assembly have been screening, the senators have been screening the nominees for the ministerial positions by the president. We've discussed our thoughts on the initial one that happened on Monday. Yesterday, we had many more that came for the screening, and we're expecting the final list today to be submitted to the Senate. But Nigerians have complained, especially about the fact that many of these nominees were not properly grilled. The newcomers were grilled, were asked questions, but those who have recently served in the National Assembly or even former governors were hardly screened, were just asked to bow and go. Many have said that this is completely unacceptable, that regardless of where you are, who you are, you should be adequately questioned and to ensure that you can actually serve. But others have said that because they have their data in the system, they know who they are, they know their antecedents, why should they be grilled? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081 076 41679 090 2416 3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Remember when former Governor Wike was being asked questions and he was going on about it. The first thing, told them to tell us about yourself, what you did and everything. And he was saying that, the president would not regret me being nominated. But after he finished, they didn't really ask him questions because they just said, he's a former governor and we already know what he's done, he can go. But people felt that he should have been asked more, they should have grilled further. I know that the Senate president himself, Akpabio, tried to initiate questions, but others just felt that there was no need. I think that his deputy, who took over at some point, kept saying, since you've been in the Senate, we already know you, don't say anything. Are you sure you want to say? Well, even giving options. Are you sure you want to say anything? Don't want to say anything. Just bow and go. Just bow and go. What are your thoughts on this topic?
So, you see, the job of this screening it's too heavy and it's too important for the way I saw them handle it, particularly with some people. And El-Rufai was a former governor, but he still answered crucial questions. So there's a preferential treatment. Some people are told to bow and go, and other people are being excessively grilled. If you want to be fair, and which is what you're supposed to do as a legislator, you are meant to be fair, check and balance, create laws, and ensure that the executives who you are screening now, you are able to handle it when they get into power and they do things you are uncomfortable with. So any question you want to ask beforehand, you're supposed to ask it at that point in time. I felt that I'm not impressed with the bow and go. I'm not impressed with the levity with which they dealt with some people within the screening. In order of priority, we have a crisis as a nation. The president just spoke and was telling us how he's empathizing with us. So everybody is on the edge. This is not the time for you to be smiling and be saying somebody should bow and go because you were in the assembly together. Your assembling together did not make my country better. It did not make my condition better. I'm still buying food expensive. People are starving. So there is no bow and go in this situation. We're trying to do a renewed hope administration. This is a new system. And the president is planning, and we're hoping that he's able to fulfill it, to change a lot of things on ground. So if you're bringing in old people to a system you want to change, then give them the opportunity to talk about the change they are hoping to achieve, not just bow and go.
Yeah, for me too, I don't agree with this bow and go. In fact, for me, I feel that especially for those who have been there before or in one capacity or the other, they have even more to answer than those who are just coming in fresh. Yeah. Because these are people that will come with fresh ideas. But if you've been there, I feel like I can ask you all the things that you did wrong and why you did that, and the things that you're doing better. It just seems very chummy like my friends and I. And if that's the case, maybe the Senate should not be the one screening people. Maybe we should have another a group of other Nigerian citizens that can come together and will grill everyone as they need to be. Let's have a list of what these questions are meant to be. We're asking everyone, we remember that there's no particular office for anybody right now. So it's not like we're saying, okay, we are looking, it's a specialized question for this person, so this one gets more questions than the other. You have said it's better to have them all at once and then you ask them general questions. Then ask everyone the same kind of questions. And where you need to go further, you should go further. It does not look good for the Senate. I don't know why they feel like this chumminess. I mean, do they watch themselves on TV? Do they watch it and think, oh, no, maybe I didn't do right, so I should do it better the next time? It just doesn't look right. Then if I, after all this, when you've asked the questions, there's this issue that came up with the petition that was raised against El-Rufai. And the Senate President was saying that these petitions were raised by others. So is there going to be like a petition sitting as well? And Nigerians going to be part of, you know, are we going to be able to view that? Are we going to witness it? Are we going to see it? Are we going to be able to also give our opinion on the petitions? It just seems like, you know, friends are here. Hey, we are back. Oh, school has resumed. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, 2023. I don't like that vibe. That's what I'm getting.
So do you think they gave it the seriousness it deserved? Let me come to you, Dama.
Well, for me, I am particularly concerned about the criteria that were used to nominate these ministers in the first instance, because we have the case of Senator Abubakar Sani Danladi from Taraba, who was alleged to have been banned by the Supreme Court from holding public office for 10 years. So before he was nominated, didn't you check if he had the capacity to actually hold that office? You also have the case of the man from Sokoto, Bello Mohammed, whose case had to do with his secondary school leaving certificates, you know, where one of the senators asked him about his O-levels, where he had just two passes and the other ones. And then he said that he just submitted that, but he has other results that he's bringing to add to the credentials. And the Senate President had to ask him, so are you saying you're withholding some credentials from us? Why didn't you just bring everything together? You're choosing the one that we should see, or what was the matter? And then he was trying to justify his case that as a public office holder, all you need is a school certificate to even contest an election. And I like the fact that they told him off and said, you're not contesting an election. You are coming here to become a minister. So we need all your competence, all your credentials to be on the table for us to be able to approve you to hold this office.
So your issue is with, especially those three. I think it was Usef, Danladi, and this gentleman you spoke about. These were the three that had issues, and that the Senate said they're going to go back and look at it again. So it goes back to why were they nominated in the first place, which is a good question. But even while I think it was Stella Okotete, there was a lot of laughing and giggling in the background. I don't know if you saw the video.
Serious.
You know, she was there. Look at the woman there presenting her credential, what she has done.
As a woman.
She was speaking, and you were just saying that
like they were not paying attention.
I'm like, you're not listening to what this woman. You know, it's like the seriousness of screening. Maybe what Mariam said is what we should do.
You don't watch.
Get independent, eminent Nigerians to screen these ministers. And then when we now finish screening, you can now go to you to go and do your bow and go. You can then come, maybe that's what we should consider. Maybe have an eminent Nigerians can be, get about 12 or 20 of them, sit down in a room, get them like you do the dungeon thing, sit down. Why do you think you can be? Because you see, as you said, if we want a renewed hope, you got to do things differently.
So one of the senators, let me get his name out, the Senator Yari, he mentioned the fact that there's a tradition of bow and go. It's a tradition. They've always done it. Well, what you have always done has gotten Nigeria to where it is. What we have always done is why dollar is being sold for 800 and something naira. What we have always done is why 95% of our earning is used to service debt. What we have always done is obviously not working. So why would we continue doing what we have always done? I would love a case where the president, and you know, I'm really impressed after the president's speech that I can be, you know, for now, let's see how it goes. Ask the president to write to the assembly that they should take the screening a bit more seriously, and ask everybody that has said, you've said bow and go, to come back and answer specific questions. Because not only is this thing serving to inform the senators, it is serving to inform Nigerians. We are in a place where many people are suffering. I want to watch TV and feel inspired that the incoming minister will know what he's doing, not just say bow and go. So because I'm awaiting that inspiration, I'm watching the screening and I see somebody go, somebody go, another person go, there's somebody is being grilled. It's a platform. What we would have done for some of these people that were allowed to go because they are former senators would have been to say that, please, give them the opportunity to sell themselves, ask them questions so that when they get any position, nobody will be in doubt of what they can do. If you give former Governor El Rufai power now, everybody will be waiting that he has already said what he's going to do. If you give Wale Edo, the finance minister, people already heard him. So there's an expectation that he's competent. But other people that you told to bow and go, how do we know what they can do? Because being a senator does not mean that you'll be able to deliver in some other areas.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we take a few comments on our social media and phone calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the ministerial screening. We've experienced 2 so far. We're hoping to get the final list today. And what are your general thoughts? We had talked about a few of the fact that the few people that were screened, and were not screened at all, they were just asked to bow and go. I would like to hear your thoughts. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-07641-679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view tweet TVC so we can read your tweet. Others have said that the screening were a bit, for those who were grilled, were not properly grilled. You know, there's some questions I would expect that people would have asked. So when people give a summary about themselves, what they've done, which is great, you know, but the kind of questions I was hearing was not, for me, was not indicative of getting information of what they've done. It was just very, very basic. What are your own thoughts on the question?
They even used PT at some points because this Miss Mosawa, a lawyer, she was one of the 28 Nigerians nominated by, and she's actually one of the 7 women that have been nominated. And when she was asked to present her resume, she started talking about herself, her background, and how she came from a poor home, how she would have loved if her father was there to witness her success. And the Senate president had to interject to say, we are not asking you for your family background. We are saying you should tell us about the capacity that you bring on board. And when she was about to respond to that, Senator Abo actually had to plead her case to say that, because she's a woman and she because she's a woman and she's quite she's quite emotional right now, that they should allow her to go.
Wait,
and another senator allowed that to go.
There was a lot of
that shouldn't have happened. Exactly.
Oh my goodness! If I was standing there, I say, sorry, I don't want to be seen as I'm representing Nigerians. I'm not just yes, I'm a woman, no doubt, but I didn't like the fact that they kept even doing
so patronizing.
Yes, it was.
What?
There was a lady, I think it was this Mrs. Uju, the one that ran the presidential aspirant at the time. And they were said and I know also another issue that I had was the fact that they will let people from your own state question you, and those who ever patronize you, they first start off with, you know, our daughter, our different thing. So they were referring to her as our modern-day Mother Teresa. What did this woman do? She said she was helping the poor in a neighborhood. She had an NGO that was supporting people. A lot of people do that. I mean, that's like everybody gives back somehow. I know. I'm sure she's done really exceptional work. I'm not doubting that, but they made it look as if she's our modern-day Mother Teresa. How?
So
and how is that?
We didn't take
our screening.
Did not give it the seriousness that
it
deserves. And they just felt like this is like we're just doing rubber stamping. So there's no high expectation of the fact that we can listen to somebody and actually on this floor disqualify somebody. If that is the expectation they have, there will be a different response. Imagine on Monday you screen 14 people and 7 bow and go. So and we will feel like we're screened 14 people, but 7 was 50% bow and go. So what are we doing?
As you mentioned when Senator Ajaero was saying that this is you have a call.
Yes, Buhari from Kaduna. Thanks for calling.
Ooh.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Get some volume, please.
All you ladies there, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
the topic you just got in this morning.
Thank you.
Ibrahim from Kaduna, a first caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You see, yes, bar and gold season, quite okay. I don't really cherish it. I don't really cherish it. Yes, I'm very happy that the way they grilled my former governor yesterday, we know him, we know what he can do, and we know what he stands for. If others will be giving the cost of commitment and handle himself here, most of them like that, we have to go far and have some positive coming from them, so that we should know where to place them and where they, what they do and what protected and what is protected from. That is how to do it. But the senator, are they really serious? Look, governance is a serious business, which is good with the way they are doing it with us.
Oh, we lost that call. So sorry.
Governance is a serious business.
Yes.
I think he too is not in support of that bow and go. But I was going to say that Ajaero was saying that this is a tradition. This is how we've always done it. And there are some traditions that should just be cancelled and needs to go. I just remember, we remember the year that Sanusi was being grilled and he outed them, the National Assembly, for trying to bribe them. I think there used to be a tradition where they would, you know, allegedly bribe or ask for bribe from, you know, those that they were screening. And I'm sure that tradition has gone. So this is another tradition that needs to go. The Senate needs to realize you're not talking to your friends. You're sort of interviewing these people for Nigeria. It's not about you,
Exactly.
Yes.
your relationships with them. It's about Nigerians and the
Getting
job
information.
ahead that they are going to perform. Are they qualified to do this job? Have you honestly ask them the right questions? If you were employing someone into your office, are these the sort of questions you would ask that person? So I think we just need to advise the Senate to do better. And if the Senate feels that because of the relationships that they have with this sort of people, and they may be compromised or or there's a conflict of interest, I think we should set up something like that jury system that America does. You bring people together and they'll ask the relevant questions.
Let me take
and then these people will be even better prepared to come for screenings like that.
Let me take Dare from Kaduna. Thanks for Dare.
Yeah, good morning, ladies.
You're live.
I think the senators are taking millions of Nigeria for a ride. I mean, just look at what they call screening. Is that what is called screening, for God's sake? Give it to El-Rufai. Yeah, when it comes to developmental strides, he did very well in Kaduna, but what he did was one-sided. And the clip that went viral, that he said he has trained a whole lot of people, that he's not looking for a minister. I was not even expecting him to be screened. But having said that, the National Assembly, I think what they're doing is patronage, because they know that there will be oversight. And the minister being screened now will have to pay back one way or the other. I might be wrong in my assertion, but what we call screening is not screening at all. I think they should take this screening very seriously. So anyone that doesn't perform should be exit door. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Dare. But does this entire process show you the complexity of lawmaking in itself? Because you see people from different lawmakers, these are different people from different places. Some of them probably read the CVs, others didn't. Because they just came, oh, she's my person, I just came to come and help you to support you. I'm here to support you. Because when there was Senator Abiru from Lagos, he was the one that detected that, uncle, you cannot enter primary school at 3 years old and graduate at 9 years old. He read it, he was able to see. Others were now just going to flick into the papers to be, where is that? They were not ready. But he read, he came prepared. So there are some senators that probably go there prepared. But because you have other senators from other places who are there patronizing, they laugh over it, they now water down the research that you have done to prepare for the screening. So that's the problem with lawmaking.
So
they're all from different places, different backgrounds, different experiences.
Imagine those senators now in the next administration are supposed to become the minister, and you say just take a bow and go. But they were senators that all they were doing was come, aye, nay. A few times they would assent to a bill, few contributions, but nothing, like you cannot
concrete.
say this is one major substantial thing they've done. You cannot compare them with other senators that every day they are speaking, they are adding their voice to
researching
and adding their voice to causes. You can't compare them. So being a senator, they are senators and they are senators. We all know.
Exactly.
They are House of Honorables and they are honorables.
God bless
We've seen
you.
honorables that are fighting. We've seen the one those that they say allegedly pocketing money. We've
Mark
seen different
register.
things.
The senators that come from Mark register, they just come to jail.
We're not all the same.
Yes.
Some have 5 years in the House, and others have just 1 year and they left. Some have lots of cases against them and their senators, and others have none. So everybody should be treated fairly. And please, the remaining women, don't talk to them the way you've been talking to them. It's very, very unfair to all the women that are looking forward to see representation. Give them the same respect you are giving to them. Bow and go.
Don't patronize us. They're a woman.
You know, I was just irritated. Let me take this call from Tony from
Is she
London.
competent?
Thank you, Mr. Tony from London.
Yes, Raya and her colleagues. I did listen to you, and you could please permit me to get out from from your topic. I just want to say something out of what you're discussing now.
Okay.
You could see that Kano's agitation it has come to limelight. It's affecting everybody. Everybody has noticed why he was agitating. Everybody is feeling it. Why you people did?
Igbo. He's talking about the southeast, the agitation
Is
in
that
the
so?
southeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we lost that, Tony. I do
People
apologize.
understand.
All right, so, I mean, we have to wrap up on this, but I think, for me, Dawana, let me come to you. Your thoughts on the fact that the women were being patronized. I mean, I thought the women were most prepared for this. I saw Beta Edu. Girlfriend was ready. She came to speak. She had her CV in her head. She was reading out what she has done. These are people that, and she probably prepared herself thinking I'm going to be meeting some educated people who are going to be asking me questions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're educated. Meeting some brilliant people who are going to be sending me questions.
Prepared.
But they're all just saying, you're a woman, very good, well done. That kind of pat on the back. We don't want that. We passed that stage of pat on the back. Don't you think, Dawana?
Yes. I totally agree with you. But with the case of Miss Musawa, I think she got so emotional.
Yes.
And yes, so she allowed her emotions to take over the competence that she was supposed to show out there, that she really had the competence for the job. And
that's Barrister Hannatu, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and as women, we should not let our emotions take over.
Even if it happens,
becloud our
give her a
emotions.
break.
Absolutely.
Give her a minute to get herself together, and then she comes back. Is that simple?
It's okay. We can be emotional, and then we will get on to the business of the day.
That's
that's
not
not the time.
But she should have also stood her grounds to say, don't worry, I'm fine. I got emotional, but yes, I'm here to even tell you my competence. So we do not know if she had collaborated or conspired to say, you know what, I'll just break down. Once I break down, just tell me to go.
Nigerians don't trust anything.
Exactly. I have trust issues.
I was even
so she should have actually, stood
I
her
was
ground.
thinking like with Better, it would be because she's also the youngest.
Yes.
So there's this pressure like I need to go and impress them. And we'll make sure I have my CV down. And and from listening to her, this is someone that has dealt with a certain type of people, a certain group of people where they're asking you serious questions, they're having heavy conversations.
High-level
so she went there prepared for that sort of conversation, but unfortunately.
When the Senate President had called Otunba Gbenga Daniel to question, I think one of the, as an astute leader, I just thought, as if Gbenga Daniel is standing, you're going to be in trouble. The same thing, he was just like, let us allow the person to go. I'm thinking, no, sir, please ask a question. I wanted really something grilling, but
I think, they were
they're
meant
not
to be on vacation. They were meant to be on vacation.
Don't give
Maybe they were already in the vacation mode. They just
should
want
have
to get
gone
this thing done.
Anyway, we have to wrap up on this, but I think in a nutshell, what we've all discussed and agreed is that the senators come across that they didn't take this, they didn't give it the seriousness it deserves. Maybe going forward in the renewed hope agenda, maybe the next session, they should do a redo. They should do a redo.
Yes.
For all the
bow and
senators
goes.
that bowed and go, they should be called.
So the ladies of your view on TVC are therefore recommending that our renewed hope president should please recommend to the senators that everybody who did the bow and go should be recalled back for proper screening. I think that's what we have said here.
Yes.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back,
The eyes have it.
we want to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So as Nigerians are discussing, they're reviewing the president's speech on Monday, his spokesman, his new spokesman, Mr. Ajuri Ngelale, is currently trending for his video on social media. Ajuri Ngelale is the official spokesperson of the president and special advisor to the president on media and publicity. Now, the video went viral because he was given a press briefing. He's in charge, therefore, of the media of the president, and he was giving pretty much ruling out the Riot Act going forward, how they plan to engage members of the media, what they can tolerate and what they would not tolerate. The fact that he was coming from a place of where he said that the institutional arrogance displayed in the past would not be tolerated going forward. He said that the president is interested in opening up the presidency to Nigerians. He also said that there'll be deep and more comprehensive ways of engagement. What are your thoughts on this video? I would like to sandwich it a bit. So on Monday, we're discussing a powerful speech by the president. Today, we touched on the lackadaisical attitude of the senators in some grilling they did. Some were serious, and because I know that they grilled Mr. Wale Edun very well and a few others, but some of the grilling was somewhat watered down. And now we're seeing a spokesperson talk passionately and daringly and confidently about what the modus operandi will be going forward. How does this sound to you? What do you make out of it? What are your thoughts on it? Call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-076 41679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. So does it give you that giz?
Yes.
G-g-g-g-g.
So I love this. I love it. I especially love this because there are times we've taken, especially in the last administration, we've taken some newspaper reviews and the sort of language that is being used by government officials or during the elections between governors and politicians. It shocks me. I'm like, here we are every day. We are sitting our children down. You need to learn how to talk to each other. You need to learn how to talk to your elders. We call out people for the way they talk to their bosses at work. And then we now have our almighty government officials coming and speaking in any sort of language. And also, we have empowered Niger netizens, as they call them. We're so rude in the way we converse with each other. There's no civility. Nobody's asking you to fall in love with anyone, but you have to have a proper, civil, decent way of communicating, and that is one thing he highlighted. He also highlighted that this president is an empathetic one as well. So it's not, and we saw that in the speech. Everybody talked about that, And I would like to see that. That is now a culture for Nigerians, that we can say this is our culture, where people who speak decently and civilly with each other about anything, we agree to disagree. There's no need for throwing shots and calling people.
You see, I love that.
Misbehaving.
You see, I love the word culture that you use. That's very important because all these bow and go senators are not understanding that there's a new culture. Yeah. Somebody has said there's a renewed hope. All this your lackadaisical behavior, we are not going to take it to the renewed hope. You can't be doing all this, go bow and go. We're talking about the presence even of this man, Ajuri, how he spoke, how he communicates to Nigerians, the seriousness of the season, what you just talked about, the culture. Let me come to you.
But they just yabbed him.
Who's yabbing him? Nigerians.
Nigerians are yabbing him. They say, who does he think he is? Is he the president? See him sitting down and addressing, like, who give you power? You never even collect appointment finish. You never even chop on top of the appointment. You don't do press briefing. All over social media, there is this, somebody even posted under the video. He said, Chief, you will soon find out that we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Oh my
You will
goodness.
realize that these people are not Nigerians, but principalities and destroyers of Nigeria. Please, do another video when you make this discovery. Good luck on the job.
Okay, so
What is that?
let me just say how I handle Nigerians when they behave like that. You know what I remember? I remember what they did to Banky W. Whenever I remember what these same people did to Banky W, and all they don't vote him, but all of us just went en masse to vote for somebody else. They don't know. I think these are the kind of people that are making this comment. So you know what? Let me let it pass. Because you remember that, because that's an obvious behavior that was very foolish. And we all knew it, and we saw it. So the foolishness of them is what you see. So when you see that, you just not them. Go ahead.
Yes, I would want to take this issue from a branding perspective.
Please.
So the renewed hope, the concept of the renewed hope, needs to be explained to all the political officials that we have now, so they understand what it truly means. That it's not just a slogan. It has to be evident in the way they carry themselves, in the way they speak, in the way they treat the people that they are representing. And it's actually very reassuring to see this coming from Ngelale, Ajuri, yes, to see that he has been on both sides.
Yes.
Okay, he's been on the
President Buhari's
side, exactly. And he has also worked as a journalist, so he knows what journalists have faced, you know, trying to interface with government officials. So I'm really looking forward to the implementation. I hope it's not just all talks. I'm also looking for actions, and I would really be happy if we have this change.
Dr. Let me come to you.
Yes, back to, as I was saying, on the funnier side of town, it is, there were comments about, just give us the brown envelopes and go. We know what to do. We have a system and a template that many people in the media have used over the years. And when I listened to him, there's a confidence vibe that you get. There's a competency vibe that you get, and it's extremely important in this season that everything is done to help us to manage the challenges that everybody is facing on a normal day. Next thing I feel that is important is people were suggesting to him that keep the communication lines open. Don't wait until there's a crisis before you speak to Nigerians on a bi-monthly basis, or twice every month. Do the press briefing, update us on the activities of what is going on. Like what you mentioned, all spokesperson actually have media background. It's a requirement for you to do the job. We can decide, we can agree to disagree on what the quality of that background is. But this is the first time I've seen in a long, I can't recollect anybody that has had TV experience. Most of our spokespersons are always like print media, amazing writers, and all of that. But now we're having someone that has broadcasting experience, and he carried it out. There's a carriage of this is a president speaking, and I think people were a bit worried about that. Or
did you guys see the subliminal message? Did you guys? There's a back-end message.
Yes, so
he said, wait, so he said, the media will not accept that this is for Nigerians, not for parties. It's a non-partisan arm of government. What I'm hearing him say, because he's probably coming from a place where, because I'm APC, or that thing, don't let it go out. You know, there's a way you will influence things because you're in a party. So you're there because of the party, but the party needs this. But he's saying that this thing I'm in charge of, this media circle I'm in charge of, we're non-partisan. We represent 220 million Nigerians. We are here speaking for Nigerians on one end. He also said condescending and insulting language towards Nigerians online from government officials would not be tolerated by His Excellency. So he's not even looking at how we insult each other, how these people are insulting him. He's not looking at that, because that's what he's concerned. He's not looking at how Nigerians are insulting each other, or how Nigerians, many went to go and vote for LUP against Baki W. He's not looking at that. What he's saying is that our own people, the government, when we speak against these people who are supposed to be leading, I will not take it lightly with you. So he's focusing on them.
Because as I said, that's where you learn the lesson. That's where you show the culture. So you can, you can discuss amongst yourself however you want to discuss, but when a person representing this administration or government comes out to speak, he will speak like someone who is decent, who is civil, who has self-respect, who understands the gravity and the importance of his office. And so you will not be found squabbling with netizens on social media, and I love that for us very much. I love that we now have a culture. We know, as Nigerians, we have a culture of respecting each other and respecting office and respecting ourselves. We're naughty. There's been a conversation where people feel that when you say respecting your elders, it means that you are weak, or you're afraid, or you just take everything. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that we can still express our displeasure, but in a way that respects that we are respectful of each other. So there's so much that I'm excited about. And I like that it's even started with the little things as conversation. On in media and in social media.
Or could he have just written this instead of a press briefing?
He's a broadcaster.
Don't write.
You know, we all have our strength. So as a broadcaster, this is his strength, and he played to his strength well, delivered beautifully. Also, I loved what he said about the fact that, you know, when we talk about the media and communication, when he expressed the fact that we're talking to Nigerians or representing Nigeria, he also spoke about the fact that they created a template before he even came into power where the president communicates mainly through NTA. And the purpose of that is we're not going to be speaking through any, because under different administration, somebody would favor a particular station more than another station. They chose to follow NTA as this is the state-owned broadcasting channel. And it was a strong one. Right from the moment he got into power, every media press release went out through NTA. Everybody had to quote
and
NTA.
everybody's like, hey, NTA is back.
Yes, there's no preferential treatment to one partisan or somebody that has political connection in this space. And that was what he reiterated when he said, this is not for politicians, this is not for party, this is for Nigerians. And it was a very good way of setting boundaries.
Hey, Ajuri in the building.
Setting boundaries and putting in the fact that in a very, very good, speaking good English, no insult, but I put everybody in their place.
And another part,
Okay, let me come in here. There's a difference between how you communicate your emotions when you're speaking and when you write.
Yes.
Trust me, if he had written this, it wouldn't have gotten this amount of attention.
Yes.
And as a communication strategist, you have to think of out-of-the-box strategies to make your statements go viral. Because if you had just done it the normal way, we have just said, the normal issue, they're just talking and talking and talking. So I liked the way he carried himself, his demeanor, the way he spoke. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
You know, there was something also that we've been talking about national unity and about the fact that even in the ministerial nominees, we have some people from other parties. And, you know, the conversations we've had is that, you know, this government is really about bringing... Wait now. So we're showing you the next one is he says that he's spoken to people who have gone ahead of him in his job. So even on this side and the other side of the divide, he has asked people who have gone ahead of him. So there's wisdom from talking to them. It had nothing to do with party. So he's saying to Nigerians, see, this is not party. And I'm showing you with my own personal experience how I've gone ahead to do this. So it's looking good, guys.
So
in a nutshell,
by that confidence,
Nigerian leaders, in a nutshell, what Nigerians are looking for is a renewed hope and renewed speech and renewed way of talking to us. Don't continue your bow and go mentality that came from the last administration. In this renewed hope, we need leaders who will speak with confidence and set boundaries as this young man, Ajuri Ngelale, has done. So the same way our president spoke on Monday, and we're all saying, oh my goodness, fantastic. And this young man has, I keep saying young man. He's a young man.
He's one of the youngest.
So in the middle here, the Senate saying bow and go. We will not accept that. We want senators who have researched each of the nominees, who have read their CVs, and who's ready to question it in the interest of Nigerians. Not my person now, she's my sister, he's my brother, and let them go.
And he also highlights the reason for appointments that are not nepotistic. There's no nepotism. It's not nepotistic because Ajuri is, of course, he had proven himself from media, and from there they brought him into the last administration. Yes, he went into the last administration, and now he's serving in another administration because he comes across as a competent. When I saw the appointment, I was like, very good
Our
appointment.
children will look at Ajuri and say, what did he read? I want to read.
He will speak well. He will speak well for us.
Yes.
Yes, now all governors too, when you want to appoint your spokesperson, let it be someone that can truly deliver. Don't let us connection.
Don't let us miss what Miriam just said. Let us rewind ourselves.
Yes.
Our children are watching TV, right? And what inspires them
is what they see.
Is it the bow and go, laughing, giggling, let it go, or the Ajuri who is speaking with confidence and pride, or a president who is speaking with us with confidence and empathy? You need to take that home. That's all we can take on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
protest, protesting the fact that the subsidy removal has increased fuel tremendously, and Nigerians are unable to manage, or Nigerians continue to suffer with these fuel increments. What are your thoughts on this? Call us again on the numbers on your screen. We'd like to hear your view. Do you agree with the protest? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's necessary? Or do you think they should go back to the negotiation table with the federal government and not have to disrupt businesses by protesting again today? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets? We've not read tweets since, all these topics we've been talking about since.
We'll check it out.
Leave out our viewers.
One very important, the request that the Nigerian Labour Congress have made is that they want the 500 billion naira for 125 poor Nigerians for them is not conducive. They also mentioned the fact that they wanted a reversal of the policy that puts the removal of petrol subsidy. They want that policy to be reversed. They also mentioned that, like Mariah said, they actually threatened earlier to go on strike, protest and strike. But now they are saying, we're not going on strike yet. We're just protesting what is currently happening, the rising hardship to Nigerians. At first, I have a level of distrust that the Labour Congress NLC has earned my distrust over time. You don't necessarily disagree. They've earned it. Not necessarily this particular leadership, but over the years we've seen protests in, protests out, and we hear stories of how everybody just pockets. No actual, like we did not achieve the reason for the protest or the reason for the strike, and we all go back. So I'm not going to a place where if I say NLC, I'll just be like, people that are fighting for their pockets. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fact. It's just a feeling I say I have. But when I read what their conversation is about, they're speaking, yes, for the organized labor, as well as the people that are civil servants. I took the story a few days ago when NECA was saying that private sectors cannot afford to have the economy shut down based on protest. The way they are on the road, businesses cannot run appropriately like this. So somebody's livelihood is already being disturbed. So we need to think about everything hand in hand as we are working towards fighting for the rights of Nigerians, and trying to get the government to move positively. But I think that it's a good move that they are speaking, because many of us Nigerians don't have anybody to represent them.
Yeah. So for me, my personal opinion was I didn't think that this protest was necessary, especially because of the conversations before the protest. The federal government has said, okay, we have heard you and we're looking at it. We're definitely going to review the salaries. They're asking that the subsidy removal was a bad idea. Many Nigerians actually disagree right now. Many Nigerians agree that it is causing a lot of hardship. Many Nigerians also agree on the way it was done. Like maybe it should have, palliatives should have gone ahead before subsidy removal. But to reverse that policy, I do not think many Nigerians agree on that. So my question is the NLC just for protests and strikes? Can NLC work with government when it's laying down policies and ways to resolve issues? Can there be meetings that we're having on how to work together with government so that Nigerians are better able to receive these palliatives, that distribution is done properly, that those that the palliatives have been earmarked for actually get it? Can NLC work in that way? Yeah. You know, ensure that the subsidized transportation costs or the free costs, that the workers are actually getting it. I would like to see NLC in that capacity. I don't want to see NLC only in the capacity of raising placards and, you know, protests and strikes. Yes, so be collaborators when we have policies and we've put in implementation of it on ground. That is how I would like to see NLC work. Yeah. I'm not saying that there's no time for strikes, there's no time for protests, but I just believe that this is, for this particular case, and right now, this is not a protest case, my personal opinion.
Damola, what are your thoughts on this?
I am totally in line with what Mariam has said, because this government, you know, I put on my WhatsApp status about, I think last week, that this government is barely 3 months in power. and Nigerians are expecting a turnaround, an overnight turnaround. And some people came at me and said, no, we are not saying we should do overnight turnaround, but they should have thought about it. They should have thought about it before removing the subsidy. We keep hammering on they should have thought, but it is done already. The deed has been done. Can we move on and actually give the government time to implement the policies, the strategies that they have to cushion the effects of this hardship? We are all feeling it, but at the same time, we also need to be logical. Things do not happen overnight. And everyone has been happy with the policies that were reeled out by the president in a speech. You know, they would reduce transportation costs, there's subsidy on food, there are plans for MSMEs, there are grants, you know, coming. These are, you know, things that cannot happen overnight. So what I think the NLC should have done, they should have stepped down this protest. I think they're just trying to see me show of power. I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
But
so they should have at least calmed down for the implementation
if you recall
to happen.
If you recall that all the presidential candidates agreed to subsidy removal. Atiku would have done the same thing.
Absolutely.
Peter Obi would have done exactly the same thing. So would they be protesting against their own candidate if Peter Obi indeed had become president and he now removed and subsidy was removed as expected? Would they also protest? Because that's the party that I understand that everybody, as Mariam said, has agreed there's a need to stop it. But if you are demanding for refineries to work, refineries cannot work overnight. Somebody has to put a process in place to get the refineries to work.
I think, you know, like I mentioned, over the years I've not trusted them. But in the protest, I don't mind today a one-day protest, because you know, when we wear different shoes, and there are different people that are wearing a particular shoe in this moment, that their condition is extremely dire and they need to be spoken for, and they don't have the means. Their voice will never be heard. Those are the people that NLC is representing, the hardship to the people that they are speaking for. I was talking to someone that was telling me that he's gathering money over the past 2 years so that he can rent a house in Lagos. When he went to visit his parents, he converted the money that he was gathering to rent a place for his parents, because he said where he met them. So what we are looking at and we're seeing as we can manage, for some people, there is no management option. So if everybody is looking at it based on their own pocket and how they are able to squeeze it, what are those that don't have any pockets to squeeze? So this is a platform for them, not to shut down the economy, not to go on strike. A protest to say, my people, like this, what you say you will do. We can't wait. They said that the palliative measure that has been reeled out is not comprehensive enough. And they have a list of what they think he should do. So if they don't protest, they won't get a platform to have a conversation. So with this protest now, they'll be brought into the table to have a conversation with the president.
So are we saying that the only
steering committee, the president has a steering committee, and the work be done. The government should have that, like this steering committee was.
Let us read it. They said government should accord appropriate recognition and support to the presidential steering committee and work of its subcommittees, as well as put a stop to inhuman actions and policies of the government. These are things that can be done, not by protest.
Yes,
so the issue is that we can every request you're making can be fixed. The only ones I know that cannot be fixed is refineries overnight. But if the government should, but I also understand the need to protest as a labor. Protesting just tells government that we are here, see our numbers.
Speed up.
Whatever you are doing, then your palliative that you recommended, will make sure we are here, our numbers are large, and if we decide to strike, it will affect you. So this is your palliative. Make sure it is properly implemented. Maybe that is a reason for a protest.
Except if that's just to prove a point. But I just don't want my NLC to be an organization of protest. If there is a steering committee, if there's already a platform on ground where we're having conversations, I have no problem as a Nigerian worker listening to Labour saying, after our meeting, this is what we have discussed so far. The next meeting will be this, and this is what we're doing so far. We are not going to protest because this administration is giving us the ear and it looks like it's listening to us. These are the things that we have put in place. In 3 months, in 6 months, if we do not see this, we will be protesting. So when you protest, even after you have agreed that you're having a conversation, I'm saying, what are you saying to the Nigerian people as a body?
Right.
You know, is it really representing me, or is it really about show of power? We're tired of this show of power, really. Nigerians just want things to work. We don't want you, you know, just positioning yourself. We see it. We see it through some of these antics. Oh, you are trying to show how much power or influence you have so that things will happen for you. Nigerians don't want that. We want to see that real conversations concerning real Nigerian issues are happening in a way that Nigerians are put ahead and are put forward. Simple.
I'm not trying to insinuate
protesting
anything. Go
can
ahead,
wait.
Dama, let me let you
Yeah.
finish.
So the truth is, even if the government were to reverse that policy today, the people that are complaining of hardship, or we cannot feed, we cannot do, that reversal will not improve their financial status. I'm not saying that you cannot become rich overnight. Yes, we have those exceptional, there are rules to the exception. But you cannot say that, oh, reverse it, and then it will automatically make my condition better, because you haven't, by yourself, put the right strategies in place for you to be empowered. If you don't have a job currently and then the government reverses the policy, are you saying that you get a job immediately?
No, if you have a job and the salary is not good enough.
So we're saying,
review.
exactly. So the government is saying that you are complaining that you are hungry, you're hungry. I come to you, I say I'm hungry. You're supposed to at least give me money to eat first, before telling me to go and look for a job. At least solve my hunger. I think that is what the government is trying to do now. At least let us use this one in the immediate... short-term remedies, and then we now focus on the long-term remedies. But they're saying, no, this cannot work, this cannot work.
The reason I'm supporting the strike is because I know that...
It's not a strike.
I mean, the protest, sorry, protest. And because government has a lot of things on their plate. Priority will be given to who is shouting most. When you have... I had twins. The one that cry most is the one that will get fed first. If I can see one person crying and the second person is still sucking on the hand, I will leave you to be sucking on your hand. I'll quickly quell the crying person. So in some cases, the one that is pacifying him or herself with consolation that government is working is going to die of hunger if care is not taken. So the protest taking place sometime and currently taking place is to let the government know I am not pacifying, I cannot chop English language.
But they're not communicating it properly.
I cannot chop hope. I cannot chop hope. I cannot chop English language. Right now, I want what I can chop now. Look at what happened in Oyo State, where they are blocking, they blocked the governor from going out. The governor has explained how this is how money is coming in. Based on what he explained, I know that it's not convenient for him to pay gratuity. He's owing gratuity for years. But if the gratuity people sit down at the gates, after a few months, guess what? He will stop projects and pay them. In Nigeria, protest works. Complaining and shouting, the loudest voice tends to get help. So people have learned this is the way that works.
It's representing the whole of labor in Nigeria.
They're a pressure group, and they're supposed to put pressure on the government. So we understand this is one of the ways they are praying. But my worry is one of the things that the president said. But let me come to this caller, Baba Guba from Gombe. Hello, sir. You're live.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, in my own view, I don't support what Labour is doing now.
Okay.
My reason is that already negotiation is open with the committee of under the leadership of Bajaja Miller. If at all they are open this negotiation issue with the government, they should not go on the street and start saying that they are calling for another rally. What disturbing people on the street. Already people are getting more aware about the issue of this labor issue, because there are many things, many negotiations have been carried out for so many periods of time, but nothing, this is not yielding any positive result. But what is supposed to do now, Labour is supposed to look at this new government that is just coming for not more than 2-3 months period of time. Give them time, allow them to sit and see what is going to happen, what is going to be good for the masses, what is going to be for the businessmen, and what is going to be good for the government and for the workers.
All right. Thank you very much, Baba Buba. The president said something that those who are against the subsidy removal have deep pockets. They're the ones that have been stealing from us for years. And they're going to do everything to resist this. And part of resisting this is probably finding ways to disrupt the work, the things happening in Nigeria. So we should also be careful, because when you see Labour just coming out to protest, after you had meetings, even yesterday, they still had meetings yesterday, and Nigerians have totally said, many Nigerians, even those that have criticized the president, have said, this man gave a very empathetic and very motivating speech on Monday. It seems like they are on track. Maybe it's not perfect yet, but okay, we are happy so far. So everybody seems to be on this side, saying that, okay, let us give them some time. And you are insisting on this. Maybe, are you on the side of those who are stealing from Nigerians? It's a question to be asked. Labour, are you partnering with those who have been stealing from the subsidy of this country for years? Are you amongst those who must be prosecuted? With the government we're hoping and begging government to find these elites who have stolen us, robbed us dry, because we don't know whose side you're on anymore.
Yeah, and then NLC is such a powerful group. Just to, referring to what Tokwe said earlier, it's representing Labour, Nigeria, and I mean, which apart from NLC, is there any other pressure group as huge and as large as NLC? But I think the NLC also, there's a risk of, when you come out to protest when you don't need to, there's a risk of also reducing your influence and your power, where when you need to come out now, government will say, don't mind them, they're just protesting as usual. Let your protest, with the time you use the numbers, let it be for situations where, the whole of Nigeria will stand with you. You don't want to misuse this tactic that you have for issues that could have been sorted at a round table. Then you have nothing to hold on. This like one of your ace cards. These are the things you wait to use until much later. And then you have a situation where you can just sit down, you're using it. NLC then, the power NLC has or the influence NLC have will be much reduced going forward. And I think that they should think about that before they go for another protest.
Let me take this call. Cash from London. Thanks for calling.
My name is Cash, and I'm speaking from London. I just want to contribute on ongoing discussion.
You're live. Go ahead.
Firstly, I want to let the Nigerians, I want to speak about the senators and the Senate leaders. I don't know whether they're quite aware that people are watching them, not only Nigerians in Nigeria, but in abroad or in, in abroad. They are watching them. It seems to me, I don't think we can expect something serious with the Senate leader, Akpabio, Senate leader, Akpabio. I don't think that you can get something serious in his leadership. I'm sorry to say.
Thank you, Mr. Cash, for your thoughts. Comments, social media?
Social media comments.
Let's get comments on social media.
Plenty. Talking about the last topic, Ogumola Emmanuel says, if you see the way they grill candidates for job roles, the Senate has once again proven themselves to be a rubber stamp. Then, on the current topic we are discussing, someone said that palliative is a medicine or a form of medical care that relieves symptoms without dealing with the cause of the condition. And so she's saying that the protest is to resolve the main issues. Then it says,
let's just take that for a second, because our job on this show is not just to discuss issues, it's to also explain. Many Nigerians are still repeating the same problem. We've had somebody come on this show this week. What we need to do is to increase production. Our problem is white dollar. And Dr. please, I want you to come in here, because we must explain to this person what the symptom is. Palliative is supportive, is just trying to alleviate the temporary, but the real solution is that we need to become a productive nation. And when we begin to produce, so for example, if I begin to produce this biro, for example, in Nigeria, this biro I sell to Nigerians and I also export to different countries. As I export, I'm getting dollars. As that dollar is entering, it begins to strengthen the naira, because the naira, we have more dollars in the system. And the demand for, when people are demanding naira, their dollars is available to buy infrastructure, to buy machinery for their own production. Things begin to better, and then prices begins to drop. So it's important that we understand it, because even on the phone, somebody was calling me yesterday, trying because she didn't understand why Nigerians were celebrating the speech. What is it about this speech? What are they saying? What exactly does it mean? And they were trying to explain to her what it means. Like, okay, fine, it's not perfect. The bosses are not here yet. Between now and next year, March, we're getting 3,000 CNG buses. You know, it's going to take a while. Labour, as you said earlier, Mariam, their job, therefore, is to make sure to give us timelines on these buses. Watch how many is coming in the first batch. When will we receive it? Which states are getting it? Yes. The granular details is what we want Labour to do. Not the easiest thing to do is protesting. Anybody can protest. But a Labour who is serious, this speech, let us break it down. What you want to do, how much, okay, this 100,000 want to give to Nano, or is it 50,000 want to give to Nano business? How do you intend to get this 1,300 per local government? What's the system? How are we getting 1,300? What are we doing? Are we ensuring that Nigerians are part of it, or do you want to be politicians? That's the real questions Labour should be asking. Sit down. It's harder to do. The easiest thing, anybody can go on the street and walk. Protesting is cheap. But the real work is to sit down and ensure that government actually ensures that these monies get to the right people. That's the real work.
They are doing both.
Okay.
They are doing both. They had a meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
With who?
The government.
They've been having meetings.
They've been having meetings.
Yes.
So it's not that they are not having meetings. It's not that they just kept quiet and said, we're not talking to you, we're going to go and protest. It is that as we are talking, it's like this talk is not going to produce what we want. So let us support the talks with protest so that we can achieve our result. You know that.
So if they're doing that, the result of that speaking should have come this morning. That, okay, we've agreed that this is what we have discussed so far.
They've not reached the agreement. This is not an
No,
ideal
they read
setting.
immediately. They said they were going to wait for the speech to be read.
Yes.
And when they heard it, they said, we insist on going on our protest in
Because
spite of the meetings that we've had and the speech.
Because they said it is not comprehensive enough. The speech did not solve the problems they raised that majority of people are facing. So it is, and like I said, many people distrust organized labor because we feel like they are going to profit whichever way, and the people that will suffer are those that are on their own. But we have recollected that over time, we have had a government, not even this one, also we're supporting this government, Renewed Hope, all right? The previous one, the schools will go on strike, you don't get resolution.
Yeah.
So in this case, they are like protesting so that you will put their own issues on the front burner in terms of prioritizing what you are going to give to labor. I'm sure if the government comes out and say, we will start implementing this the price change from next month or something, they will know, okay, let's give the next month's timeline for it to happen. I'm just trying to understand why they will continue. Okay. I know ideally, like Mariam said, we want a collaborative labor, not a I must fight to get. It's not when you're used to fighting. Everything. Did you see when you're a carpenter, everything is a hammer. Yes. So for labor, everything is fight.
Did you see the wordings on the banner?
No, I didn't. I couldn't read.
It said, I think it was no to fuel increment.
Fuel price increment.
Something like that. But really, was fuel increased? No, subsidy was removed.
Right.
So it's all about framing. So they're walking on the streets. And the man was just like, yes, increment. Yes, they increase fuel. You know, that they're now getting the
price increase. They are not communicating.
Price increase. But why the price increase?
They want their objectives properly. They are not, the Labour Congress are not communicating their objectives properly because they are asking for the policy to be reverted. And we all know, many Nigerians have actually agreed that this thing cannot work. So why are you still insisting? The refineries and all of these are things that can be done in the future. They are long-term. So if you're saying, okay, we are coming out to put more pressure on you so that you can immediately implement all the policies that you...
Tell us.
Exactly. Be clear with it so that people would not be confusing your objectives. And I think they're also using this to prove a point because the first one that they said they were going to protest, they didn't go... they didn't embark on the protest, and people were saying, hey, Labour, they've collected money. This is this Tinubu administration has given them money. So I think they're trying to use this to make a point that, okay,
I think
schedule the protest.
I think that's a good point you made.
Okay.
Because the truth is that they need to prove a point, you know, and I also think it's also good, just to support Tokwe a bit, is that I understand that there's a need to let the government know that, listen, we are here. Yeah. We are Labour, we speak for Nigerians. When we tell them to go out, they go out. See our numbers. So don't try us. So I mean, that's also important. But to be more objective, would rather them to do it properly. Let's not do it for too long. But thank God they were also smart in saying it's not a strike or it's just a protest. So they're just saying, government, see us, but we're not really disrupting things. So we hear you. But I think Nigerians really want more from Labour. Beyond protesting, do a proper engagement.
I just don't like being a pawn in all this politics back and forth. I don't like it, you know. I just want to be able to trust the pressure group that represents me. And also, I think there's a new culture. Nigerians expect excellence from everyone. So for my NLC, I'm expecting excellence.
Okay, that's all we can take. Thank you very much, Mariam. I think we can end with that. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things, as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.